Hello. Been a little while since I've been on here. Hope you guys are all doing well. Yeah, I just wanted to jump on and actually talk about a couple of my campaigns. Um, Back in January, well, like the last week of December, but since then, I decided that I wanted to give some professional dungeon mastering a try. I needed money, and I wasn't playing enough D&D. I really, if I'm not playing 3 or 4 times a week, it's not enough for me. I just really love the game. Yeah, so I figured this would be a way to play more and to make a little money at it as well. So I've been running campaigns since, uh, like I said, end of December, January. Began with what I did initially was, oh, by the way, I am Dorgan Kishu, Paladin and Dragon Rider. And my Twitter's down in my about section if you guys want to check that out. Also, I have a YouTube channel there. Link you can check out my YouTubes that are associated with. You can check my playlist that has to do with stuff I'm twitching. There's like some different things that I've twitched that I've streamed in the last 6 months or so, and including we started a campaign for a few sessions. We've gotten away from it. I'm hoping to return to that or another one. Yeah, but anyway, all right. So let me back up a little. I'm not sure who's watching this, but I'm also going to upload this to my YouTube so that you guys can anybody who sees it on there can reply there, because I'm not sure you can reply here unless you're live with me on the chat. Speaking of, let me just peek at the chat, see if there's anybody out there. Put on my Dungeon Master bracelets. Let's see what do we got. Ice Wizards. I've seen them before. If you can hear me, excuse me. If you can hear me, welcome to Dragon Riders, my Twitch channel for Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, so let's give you a little bit of my history. Yeah, so I played Dungeons, and different people have heard this, but I wanted to play in the 70s. I'm older than I look. I'm 53. I don't know if I look 53. But I wanted to play in the 70s, didn't get a chance to play until the 80s. Started running adventures myself because I didn't like the dungeon masters that I did run across battle over rules a lot, and I just finally decided the only way I was going to play is if I ran it. Then I fell in love with dungeon mastering, ran a campaign for 2 or 3 years, and then stepped away from D&D for a while, and then got back into it and ran an evil/chaotic group of people from my work and from a production of Hamlet I was in theater. And then that went away. I played here and there, of course. I've also been a player, mostly on Dungeon Master, but I've been a player online a few times. None of that really worked out. But in 2017, I found out about Dungeons and Dragons 5e. I learned how to be a player. I joined a group where I supplied all the content to somebody because I didn't want to run anything until I was familiar with the new rules. And yeah, so that group was okay. It was good sometimes. It was not good sometimes, and sometimes it just got canceled kind of really short notice. So kind of had to step away from that. In 2018, started a campaign for my girlfriend, and that one's still going 4 years later. She's level 27. And but also in 2018, I started a YouTube channel where I was doing world building, whatnot, and I started working on something called Frost Rhealm that somebody asked me if I was going to publish it. I wasn't sure that I wanted to publish anything because I wasn't sure. I didn't know if I wanted to attach anything, money or work related to Dungeons and Dragons. It was my safe haven. It was my favorite. Dungeons and Dragons wasn't so much an escape for me. It was more just somewhere I love to create, and I didn't necessarily want to think about making money in regards to it. But anyway, I started to build it, and I was going to do a Kickstarter for it to publish the module, Frost Rhealm module, and then I stepped away for about a year and several months from YouTube or from Dungeons and Dragons Twitter, just because of life. Came back, finished up the module, published it in 2019. The reason I'm mentioning all this is that when I decided to try out professional dungeon mastering, I'd only been okay. I dungeon mastered for 30 plus years on and off, but I had only done one online where I ran one online for about a year. Now it's a couple of years now, I think, a year and a half. But anyway, yeah, and I loved it. and there was a lot of theater of the mind and all that. I use Discord, and I play with some of my Dungeons and Dragon Twitter buddies. We all known each other several years since I've been on since 2017. I think I've known them all at least, not at least, but I've known them from then, 2017, I think. Anyway, yeah. So when I decided to do the professional dungeon mastery, there's a couple things. I'm usually theater of the mind, but I figured it seemed like people online, when somebody's paying you to do it, they're wanting the maps, they're wanting this, and I do supplies, that in my Discord group from time to time. But I wanted to do a combination of Discord for the audio and video, and then supply maps on Roll20. I played on Roll20, but I hadn't ran anything on it. But for the professional dungeon mastering, I wanted to do that. So yeah, so I started out and I decided another thing was that I wanted to run. Normally homebrew. I've never ran anybody else's module, not even Wizards of the Coast. Even though I buy stuff, I just don't use it because I create my own stuff. But I decided it might be a good idea to start with my Frost Rhealm module. That way I'm really familiar with the content. So I started the Frost Rhealm campaign. It was my first professional dungeon mastering gig in December. Got another one going in January, and then we blended them. And the Frost Rhealm campaign is now on Fridays, and it's been going since December, January. So it's been 6 months, and there's been a couple of different players that came or left, and a couple that came, and but there's a couple that have been there for a long time. They're literally a couple, or maybe they're not. I don't know if they are. I thought they were, but I'm not so sure anymore. Anyway, all right. So let's see here. So on Frost Rhealm, that has been going really, really well. Then I wanted to run another campaign on Saturday, so I created a continent. Now Frost Realm's a single continent in my whole material realm, which is like 7 or 8 continents. Frost Realm is located on the coldest continent called Norwin. But I created a new campaign called Thunsora, a whole new continent. It's just a continent by itself. It's not a bunch of continents. And I did get somebody playing it on Saturday, but I wasn't getting more players, and that guy was great. He's also a math teacher, so I thought during the summer I pulled him over to my Friday group. That way he could play in a group, and I was going to try to build something else on Saturdays, and then when he goes back to school teaching, he'll come back to the Saturday game, and it will be whatever I'm doing. And that's when I created ICERN, which is now called Heroes of ICERN. Changed it a little bit. Yeah, these pictures here. So Frost Rhealm, I'm going to try to point to these things. It's Frost Rhealm's up there, and well, let me back up a little more. So Frost Rhealm, because we've played like 20-something sessions now, we've moved into the other continents. We're now on a continent called Despa, which is there. That's one part of it. We're kind of hanging around the Kingdom of Rock, and up north is the Kingdom of Brohor. The Kingdom of Brohor is ruled by Sartroth, who is one of the 4 kings of Despa, which is the continent. And the Kingdom of Rock is ruled by another king called Thardan, and it's very political. But the group started in Frost Rhealm, but they actually found the King Sartroth in a jail, and he had been kidnapped and put in his jail underneath a fortress on a different continent. Now that's Sartroth from the Kingdom of Bro. I'm going to point to it again. Brohor upper. See, it says Kingdom of Brohor. And so the group, they weren't done with Frost Rhealm because there's more mysteries that they're trying to figure out about the situation over there. But they did want to return the Lizard King, and he also gave, because he was going to give them a reward, he gave them a reward, but he also hired them to go down to the Kingdom of Rock and try to determine if King Thardan was the one that had him kidnapped. Because King Thardan wants to rule all of Despa. Right now there's 4 kings, but the political structure is very shaky. King Thardan has been king for a couple of years. His dad was a renowned king, but he passed away, and Thardan's trying to do better than his dad, or just prove himself. Let's see, still okay. Just checking to see who's this, and Thardan is trying to figure out ways to rule all of Despa, and that's why there's possibility that he had Sartroth kidnapped because he's one of the kings. Sartroth, even though he's a lizard folk, he's actually the most wise and the most balanced king of the land, really. Because there's a barbarian king that's south of the Kingdom of Rock, um, but he's kind of ailing. He has an ailment. He's an older barbarian. Well, he's in his late 60s, not that old, but he has some ailments, and he's just kind of not super robust as a king or a leader. And he never really wanted to be a king. He did kind of appointed him as king. He lives in a place called Ardent Keep. He hasn't even named his barbarian kingdom because, like I say, he wants to rule his people. Thardan wants to meet with him on the borders. There's a huge wall that separates the Kingdom of Iraq and Arden Keep. Barbarians have put there to kind of discourage the Kingdom of Iraq from attacking. There's this huge wall that's covered with barbarians. And so Thardan wants to meet with the king of Arden Keep and Krugendor. He wants to meet with him on the border, right up near the wall, north in the Kingdom of Rock area, to discuss, Thardan being king. And Krugendor has no interest in that. He doesn't want to hand over the rulership of his people to some king that's seeking, glory and power. The fourth king is called the Mad King. He's a high elf king who's kind of lost his mind. He's known as the Mad King because he's killed some of his own family members because of being paranoid. Nothing that he's done that's been kind of crazy has really been justified. It's all been him being paranoid. Now, the one thing that he is a protector of a great tree, which has it's a great healing tree. So he's also a protector of that. But yeah, that king's kind of losing his mind. So you can see why it's kind of not a power grab going on right now, but they're a little bit. Thardan's trying, but he's meeting resistance. Yes, the Sartroth hired the group to once he paid him a reward for bringing him back home. He paid them to kind of do a little bit of espionage or just try to figure out if Thardan is the one that kidnapped him because he can't be sure. But then the group found out that there's a red dragon. Now, dragons aren't supposed to have existed in Despa for years, but supposedly there's a red dragon to the west that's been causing a lot of fear. And Thardan's been kind of ignoring it because he's so focused on becoming king of all of Despa. So the group took it upon themselves. Let's go kill this red. Okay, they tried talking to Thardan, but they got nothing out of him. So they decided, let's go kill this red dragon. Maybe we'll earn his ear. Maybe he will earn some favor from him, and then get closer and find out if he's the one to kidnap Sartroth. So they cruised over to the west, and they did. They killed a red dragon, young red dragon, and now they're heading east. They're heading back to the Kingdom of Rock, and that's kind of where we're at in that campaign. Now, the reason I'm talking about this campaign is because there's currently only 4 members. Different times I've had 5 or 6 members. The 6th member was really somebody who only could play so often, so I kind of created a 6th spot. But then now that him and his girlfriend have left, I kind of made it a 5-person campaign. And right now we have 4 people, and because one person just left, his schedule changed. So that's the first one, Frost Rhealm. If you're interested in joining or reading up on these campaigns, in my About section there is a DORAGON DM for hire. If you click that, it'll take you to a profile where I do my dungeon mastering. My games are all lined up on there, so you can go take a look at Frost Rhealm. We need 1 more player. This group is awesome. Right now it's like I said, a really nice couple, and then there's a new guy, and then there's another kind of new guy who was my Saturday player. And but they're just awesome. They're just really super enthusiastic, and we're just having a lot of fun. But I want at least 5 players in there. So yeah, if you're interested in Frost Rhealm, just click the link for in my About section on this Twitch section, and if you're seeing this on YouTube, then I will have the links down underneath the video. But you can at least read up on all that. That takes place on Fridays from 12 to 3 p.m. PST, and I know these aren't great times for everyone, but and sometimes they run a little longer than 3 hours, but I just do it as 3, and then sometimes we play longer, sometimes we don't, depending on the group and what's going on. So that's what's going on with Frost Rhealm. But the other, I was going to say, so I created this Thunsora place, and the one guy signed up, and then I moved him into my Friday group. But what happened with Thunsora is you can also hire me for custom dungeon mastering. So if you have a certain time that you want to play, or a certain day or time, you can hire me as a custom. It costs a little more to do that, but per person. But like I had a group reach out to me that wanted to play on Mondays. I wasn't actually going to be doing Mondays because my girlfriend has Monday off. But it was a great opportunity, and so we actually, and they had the choice of doing the Frost Rhealm thing or Thensora, which was my second campaign that I created, and they wanted to do Thensora. So we've been running a Thensora campaign on Mondays, and that's been a blast. That's 4 people. They all know each other, so it's a private group. But that's been a lot of fun on Mondays, and then, like I said, my Friday group. But I want to be running more games, and so I want to be running 3 or 4 a week. So I created a whole new campaign. It was originally called ICERN, but I quickly changed it to Heroes of ICERN. I'm trying to think if there's a yeah, if you trying to think of this in my about section in the YouTube. If you click that, um, yeah, that video should be there. There's a video about Heroes of ICERN. It was actually called ICERN, like I said, but it talks a little bit about it. But basically, I've created a land. Once again, a continent. Actually, this place has several continents, but there's one big center continent that has been taken over by these dark knights and warlocks that serve a god called Ixis. And what the Ixis is doing is that Ixis is having the warlocks build these ships that are sailing ships that are powered by shadow magic, and they're supposed to head off with. And then these knights, these powerful knights that serve Ixis, one night each is supposed to go on these ships and go off to the 4 or 5, I forget how many different little continents there are, and try to take over the other continents. So it's a big dark plan, and there are armies of dwarves, humans, and high elves, but they're all kind of just worried about themselves, and they're not coming together to fight this. They're just protecting their individual lands. So there's no group trying to stop this evil from happening, and that's where the heroes come in, the heroes of ICERN. This is an opportunity. I have a map. Where is it? I got to point the right direction. It's over there. Yeah, in 3. Okay, so in 3 has see the axes. That's the dwarven kingdom in there. In those mountains. The swords, those are the humans, and then up here is a wolf, and that is the high elf. So they on in 3. That's only one of the several continents that surrounds the central continent. And ICERN is the world. So anyway, in 3, you would begin your adventure in ICERN right there in the dwarven town. Sorry, human town. And it would just be adventurers coming together and saying, "Hey, we need to stop this. These shadow ships are going to start hitting our different shores. And if the people aren't going to come together to fight it, someone needs to." So start out at level 3, and so at first you'll do what you can. You can't face the knights that come directly because they're too powerful, and you definitely don't want to head to the main continent. At least not the main part of it up here. Let's see, right hand is up there where the skull is. That's like the main darkness. You're not going to want to head there as level 3. But it is a big continent. You can check out other things. They have allies to the south, orcs. But yeah, so on the ICERN campaign, you'd start on N3. You'd have a group. You'd take on missions, trying to slowly stop the darkness that is sweeping this land. So yeah. Okay, so ICERN is going to be on Thursday from 12 to 3 PST, and there's going to be a second ICERN campaign on Saturdays. Is also 12 to 3 PST. And I haven't signed anybody yet because this is a brand new thing. And so if you're interested in checking those out, what we do is we would do a session 0 for free, and just build your characters and tell you a little bit about what you're getting into in this land. And of course, you can reach out to me on my Twitter. You can direct message me, and then if you've seen this on YouTube, you can comment below. But any questions and all that. And then if you're interested in, or you need a DM, or you want to hire a DM, but you don't want these times, like I said, you can hire me custom times. You would just need to reach out and message me and just check to see if those times work. And yeah. So, like I said, just wanted to talk a little bit about my current campaigns. And like I said, Frost Rhealm is a great group. ICERN, I'm just really excited about running because I like the concept. The whole reason I created it was I just needed a new thing because I tried Thensora for a while, and like I said, that Monday is doing Thensora, Friday is doing Frost Rhealm, and I decided from doing this, only because I had never done before, that it is nice to have a different setting for each campaign. I mean, I can definitely do more than one Frost Rhealm. I can do more than one Thensora, but I'm trying to kind of mix it up. And yeah, so like I said, reach out if you have any questions and all that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. Um, and other than that, like I said, I'm hoping once again that I get to run some campaigns on this Twitch. It was a lot of fun. We did this. My girlfriend and I did she had a new character. We did session 0 and a session 1 and a session 2. If you want to see those videos, go to my YouTube link in my about section because those you can even see me DM a little bit, just one person, but yeah, you can go to my about page on Twitch, and you can click the link for the Dorgan, Dragon Riders Twitch YouTube channel, and in there are the video session 0, session 1, and session 2 of a campaign that we started in March that we've put on hold temporarily. We're figuring out what we're going to do in the future. And then if you're on YouTube, I will put a link in also for all the stuff I've twitched. So I'll put because my YouTube has more than just what the link takes you to. But if you're on YouTube and you want to find that playlist, I will put the link underneath this video. So yeah, thanks for checking this out. Let me just make sure there's nobody in here. Usually pick up Asuk Mikasa and Sophia Fox. I think I recognize Asuki Misaka. I'm not positive. Hello to you guys if you can hear me. Sometimes there's just people floating through, but I don't think they have their headsets on. And yeah, so like I said, if you need to reach me from the Twitch, then just go to my About section and message me on my Twitch. Sorry, on my Twitter. And then if you're seeing this on YouTube, you can do the same thing. You can go to my TikTok. That is names, man. All right, I'm gonna end this. I really do thank you for checking out my channel, and I would love to play with you. It would be a blast. I love D&D, so it would be a blast. And yeah, thanks again.